Helen here with Eyes on the Game, being joined by the one and only Mr. Kevin Barry. Now, a lot going on with you. You're staying busy, but Joseph Parker has a huge fight coming up October 26th against Dereck Chisora. I mean, it seems like the writing was on the wall for that fight to be made, and it finally happened. What are your thoughts?
Well, this fight has been in the works for a long time now. You know, we've been talking about it since early 2019. You know, both guys had accepted to fight each other, and yet this fight has taken a long time to put together. You know, we were hoping that this fight would happen. Dereck Chisora is a very powerful, a very aggressive, a very strong heavyweight, a very well-known and well-liked heavyweight in the UK. And it's a style and it's a fight that we've wanted for a long time.
But like you said, you guys have wanted it for such a long time. But, I mean, it seems like it took quite a bit of time for that fight to get made. So what was the big factors that made it take so long?
Well, I tell you what, it definitely wasn't on our side. You know, Joe had been back in New Zealand. He was doing some strength work and spending time with his family, waiting for the fight to be signed. We had David Haye at one stage after Chisora's last fight saying, okay, we want Joseph Parker. And we go, okay, we're here, sign the contract. You know, and yet week after week after week went by and we still couldn't get them to sign a contract. And, you know, David Higgins, Joe's manager, was on the phone every day to Eddie Hearn and to David Haye. So, you know, it took 5 or 6 weeks to get them to sign this fight. So I don't know what the hell was going on, but I'm being told now that the fight has been signed, that we're fighting October 26th. Joe's back in camp. He arrived here 3 days ago. He came back in very good shape, very strong and excited about the fight. But, you know, really, it would have been nice if we could have signed the fight 3 or 4 weeks ago and I could have had him here in camp.
Also, I did read about the VADA testing, and that could play into a big factor. So what really is going on with that?
Well, you know, as of today, we have, or should I say, they have agreed to VADA testing. It took a wee while to get them to agree. There's a lot of problems with drug testing in the heavyweight division at the moment.
Yes. We saw Dillian White.
Well, you know, we've seen a lot of fighters of late. But you know, when we talk about the UK scene, you know, Dillian in his last fight, all we want is an even playing field in the UK, and we've had a really rough time with the officials in our 3 previous fights there. We don't think that we've been treated very fairly, especially by the referees. And a fight like this, against the style of a fighter of Dereck Chisora, I think it's going to be very, very important that, one, that we have drug testing in place, and 2, that we have a very capable referee who can control a fight of this magnitude.
Now, I know his last fights, he went in a bit light because he's been staying active, and that made you happy that Joe has always been in fight-ready shape. So going into this fight against Dereck, I mean, is that side of everything going to stay the same?
Well, this is a career-defining fight for us. You know, we've had 3 fights in the UK in the last 18 months. We had a great win, world title defense against Hughie Fury. We lost a unification fight to Anthony Joshua and a controversial loss to Dillian White. And we need to have a statement fight. And we look at this Dereck Chisora fight. This is our statement fight in the UK. You know, Joe wants it very, very badly. When you talk about, you know, fighters being light and staying active, Dereck Chisora had 3 fights in 2018. This will be his 3rd fight in 2019. And this is a fighter who's really been rejuvenated since signing up with David Haye as his manager and David Caldwell as his trainer. You know, he's shown some really good form. In his last fight, a devastating knockout against Artur Spilka showed that he is a very dangerous guy. So, you know, this is the sort of fight that we need. This is the type of fight that will bring out the very best in Joseph Parker. And, you know, we've made no secret. We've wanted Dereck Chisora for a long time. They've talked about wanting us. Well, we really want him.
Now, you say bring out the best in Joseph Parker. What do you think the fans and everyone will see when Joseph Parker brings his best out?
Well, I think we saw in the last fight, Joe's condition has definitely gone up a notch. His skill was really on display in the 10 rounds against Alex Leopai. Some things that we'd been working on in the last couple of years, I think he put them all together beautifully on the night. I think Joe is showing a lot of maturity at the moment, and I'm liking at the level where he's at. I'm liking his thought process, I'm liking his understanding, and I'm really liking his commitment to his training. So I think, he's at the stage of his career. It's our 7th year together that everything is starting to click, and we're going to see a very, very special athlete come October 26th.
And with a win over Dereck, will he be next in line for Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz winner?
No, look, I'd love to say yes, but I don't believe so, because the mandatories are stacking out one after the other. But I tell you what, the heavyweight division at the moment, there are so many things changing so fast, and you just have to be one of the top fighters. You have to be ready to go on short notice. And, I think Joe understands that now, and he came back into camp at 110 kilograms. Yesterday after training, he weighed 108. So, he's in fantastic shape at the beginning of camp. So, he understands now that, we have to be ready to go. If an opportunity presents itself, we have to be the guy ready to step in. And Joe wants nothing more than the opportunity to once again fight for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of that fight, though, how do you see that rematch playing out?
With Joshua?
Yes.
I tell you what, I don't know. I'm hearing all sorts of conflicting things, that Andy's not putting the work in that he should be putting in, but I don't buy that. I think that's probably just a strategy on their team's part to give Joshua some sort of false security. Look, Andy looked so good in the first fight. Anthony Joshua is going to have to reinvent himself and really turn things around if he's going to be competitive in the rematch.
But as Joe's coach, would you like to see him face Andy again or Anthony?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Joe watching Andy fight Joshua, Joe knows that he should have done a lot more. He should have thrown a lot more punches, like Andy did. He improved his chances of winning by throwing more punches, and he would love that opportunity. But we also know that the fight when we fought Andy Ruiz and won the world title in December of 2016 was a very close fight. There were independent judges from all around the world, and Joe won by the closest of margins, and that's a fight that we know is going to happen again at some stage, whether Andy is wearing the belt or not. Parker and Ruiz will definitely fight again at some stage.
Yes, so many great heavyweight fights. One, Tyson Fury, he's fighting here, but you're training Guido, who is on the undercard. Can you kind of talk about that?
Look, Guido Vinello is a terrific young man and a very, very exciting prospect. He has steamrolled his first 4 opponents within 6 rounds. This fight, he's fighting Cassius Anderson, a guy with a record of 7-1, so it's definitely a step up. Guido is a terrific athlete, very hardworking in the gym, is an intelligent fighter who loves to learn. A young man who's like a sponge at the moment. He's absorbing everything that we teach him, and it's really exciting for myself, for Taylor Barry, and also Robert Lamson to be directing and guiding and molding the career of this young, exciting fighter. Along with his manager Sam Jones, we're making the moves to prepare this young man to become a future champion.
Sorry, but how did you guys get linked up?
Well, after he had his first 4 fights with another team, and his manager Sam Jones approached my son Taylor, and asked if we could get together, and we spent a week doing a temporary trial, and after that, Guido said, look, I'd love to be training with you guys. He's now living in my house along with Joseph Parker. He is he's a terrific young man, and we're excited about him. We really are. I'm watching him. We've been together now for 5 weeks, but I've seen huge progress in that 5 weeks, and I know that this is just the early stages of his career. In a couple of years' time, this 6'6", 245-pound man will be some fighter, and a fighter that Italy will be very, very proud of. Bob Arum and the team at Top Rank, when they first saw him, they signed him straight away. They saw the potential, and We're loving working with him. Eventually, Joe's just come back in the camp. He won't spar him this camp, but eventually, he'll get some rounds with the former champion. So that'll be great learning for him.
Has anything surprised you about him so far?
About Guido? I tell you what, he has a huge motor. He pushes himself. You can never ask him to do something that he won't do, and I'm loving that. I'm loving the fact that if I show him something, he will practice it until he improves on it. If I ask him to do something in the corner, he'll go straight out and do it for me. And the other things that I really love. He's a guy that's very, very coachable. Some fighters, you can ask them to do something and you can repeat it one day, and then a week later you're telling them the same thing over and over again. He's not one of those guys. He's a guy that he's going to learn, and he's going to do what you ask. And that's exciting for a coach.
I know you're staying busy, but what would you like to tell all the fans?
Well, our team is growing a wee bit at the moment. It's just been Joe and I for a while, and we've got Guido's joined our team. I've got 3 Russian fighters here at the moment.
All at your house too?
No, thank God, my wife says. But I tell you what, they may as well be at the house, because they're all at the house this afternoon getting a massage by Joe's masseuse. They've got a 1-hour session each. So they're upstairs in my green room getting massage right at the moment. But look, really good guys. They're fighting. There's 3 of them fighting in Grozny, Chechnya on the 19th of September. Umar Salamov, the WBO International Light Heavyweight Champion, is fighting Roma Angulu. Angulu's 24-1. Umar's 24-1. It's a very, very good matchup. The Colombian Angulu is a very powerful, very strong fighter. In his 24 wins, 22 have been by knockout, so he's very, very heavy-handed. But, Umar's a very big light heavyweight, 6'3.5", hits extremely hard for his build, and is a terrific body puncher. And at home, he'll be very, very hard to beat.
Yes, well, so much going on, and like you said, your team is growing, it's expanding, but it's all very well deserved. I'm happy to see your continued success, and thank you for always making time to talk to me.
My pleasure, Helen. It's always great to have you in our gym.